please introduce the team, the panelists, and please take the session forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Mr. B.K. Solia from Shillong, Meghalaya, and I have it here with me Dr. Arun Sharma, the Director General of NECTA, which is the Northeast Center for Technology Research and Applications. I also have here Mr. Nagesh Pai, who is one of India's top food wine experts, probably the only one, he and his wife Priyanka, the first couple or the first winemakers in the world to be able to make wine out of chiku, which is a very, very difficult fruit to make wine out of. I think just entering here, we also have Dajit Chabong and his partner, Yanbo. They are two winemakers from Shillong. Come. Sit in front. And they are the founders of Kanjai Winery, small boutique winery in Meghalaya, and which has been one of the rising stars, probably not only in Meghalaya but in the entire Northeast as far as quality of wines is concerned. And of course, a lot of that credit also goes to Nagesh here, who has been their mentor. What I'm about to speak about today is a lot of it is from the policy point of view, a lot of it is from the governance point of view. I will talk about I'll talk about more about the markets, the potentials for fruit wines, and why we actually went in for fruit wines. Mr. Nagesh will talk about the process and how it is different from the normal grape winemaking. And of course, we have Dr. Sharma, with a mandate for the entire Northeast, who is in charge. His organization is in charge of bringing in new technology, bringing in new thinking, bringing in new innovations into the region. And Dajit, of course, will be talking about his wines and his journey. So let me start with this. Beyond grapes, we actually came up with this. We actually came up with this topic, with this one-liner, because what we're going to talk about is fruit wines other than grapes. What we would like to say, non-grape fruit wines. And a lot of the credit for that, for this initiative, goes also to Mr. K.N. Kumar, who was the former chairman of the Regular Farmers Empowerment Commission. I worked with him as his executive advisor, and after he demitted office, I took over as the chairman. So it happened because of a conversation way back in 2004, where he was the Commissioner and Secretary of Agriculture. I was an agriculture officer, horticulture officer at that point of time. And we were talking about what to do with, we had actually just recently introduced strawberries into Meghalaya, and it was doing very well. And then, but then we had a problem of a lot of the fruit being wasted, especially in the hotter months of the year. So then the conversation turned around to wine. And then we found out that quite a number of people in the villages have actually discovered that strawberries, when you leave them out, they start to ferment. So they started making wines. And that's how the conversation started. And we have been looking at this as one of a very vital intervention to address the wastage in the fruit supply chain. Because as a country, around 36 to 40%, the figures vary, because there's no actual reliable data. Between 36 to 40% of fresh vegetables and fruits are wasted in the supply chain because of so many factors. Lack of cold storage, middlemen complex, and the lack of middlemen, the presence of middlemen, both factors. So many factors which are probably beyond the scope of today's lecture session. But because of that, that is why we saw processing as one very viable activity or industry. But then a lot of the sector was becoming crowded. It is becoming crowded, and there is a need for more and more innovation to come in, which is happening, of course. But then winemaking is also fruit processing. And that's one of the things that we would like to talk about later in my presentation. And that's how, the conversation started. It took Meghalaya 20 years to come up with a policy on fruit winemaking. And because, there is a lot of, you have a clip microphone? Oh, okay. Because you see what happened was that a lot of social factors, a lot of resistance from church groups, from civil society. The concept of fruit wine was not very well understood. A lot of people equated fruit wines with liquor. And here we are talking about an alcohol percentage of less than 12%, whereas liquor is about 40%. So there was a lack of understanding even in the government of what exactly is fruit wine. Even till today, I think that fuzziness still remains, because even the FSSAI, which is the regulatory body, still has to make that clear differentiation between grape wines and fruit wines. A lot of it has been adapted from the European standards, but given the kind of fruits that we have here in the country and the kind of diversity we have, we feel that it is time to come up with our own standards. That's another topic again. But what I would like to just highlight here is, if you look at this slide, you look at this, the global market projected to grow at 10.4% CAGR. Okay, and to 2035. And this has been driven by quite a number of winemakers, not in India, but in USA, in Europe, in Germany, even in China and Japan. And if you look at this, in the Asia Pacific, the dominance is China, is dominated by China with rice and plum wines, then Japan and South Korea with the berry wines and umeshu. And let us not forget that Asia and Southeast Asia, a lot of the beverages and the wines that they create are based around rice. Now there's a huge potential for rice-based beverages, even in our country, because we are a huge rice-producing country. And then United States non-grape wine reached around $488 million. Mostly ciders and meads, less of fruit wines. Canada is much more focused on fruit wines. And you have in Europe still has the grape hangover, literally. So, they tend to look at grape wines as novelties. But there is a growing market, and that market is driven by, a lot of millennials, young people. And then you have, the production innovation. A lot of innovation is happening now, we see across the world, especially in the Southeast Asian countries. And I think in India, we probably as a country, if we get our act right, and if we get our policies right, we can become one of the biggest production hubs for fruit wines in the world. Because I remember in 2021, when Mr. Ken Kumar and myself, we first attended Vin Expo, which is a pure wine international exhibition, pure grape wine international exhibition. When he spoke, he told the entire gathering, there were, from Europe, from across the world, people had come. He said that India is a country with 2,000 fruits. And it's simply not possible or unimaginable to think that only one fruit can be turned into wine. All fruits, in fact, literally almost all fruits, and I think Nagesha would agree with me, that not only fruits, vegetables even, can be turned into wine. We have seen cases in Sikkim where people have made very excellent beet wines from beet. And with such a vast diversity of fruits, why is it that we are restricted to only one fruit? Granted, the characters, the grape has an ideal ratio of sugar and acidity, which makes it very easy to make wine. But then that's taking the easy way out. Excuse me, can I have some water? So what I'm saying is that it is possible, and we have proven it, to make wines from almost any fruit that we have. Of course, in fact, if Nagesh and his wife Priyanka can make wines out of chiku, which is one of the most difficult fruits to make wine out of, I think we can make wines from your guavas and pineapples and mangoes and even lychees. There are varieties in this, and that's what we as a country have. So, and then this concept of farm to bottle, that's where the innovation is happening. Because, you see, when we went into fruit wines, it was with a very clear objective, is to actually bring back or actually flow back revenues, incomes, and upgrade the incomes of our farmers. Because when the produce is being turned into wine, it is value addition, number one. Number two is a farmer gets a reliable, steady, sustainable market year on year. Number three is that the benefits that accrue to the farmer is that instead of him wasting his produce, it can be turned into at least income. And we have seen farmers in Meghalaya who have gone on from a seasonal income of around 30,000 rupees to 3 lakhs in a season. A tree which was earlier sold, fruits which were earlier sold for 3,000 rupees is now selling for nothing less than 15,000. And that is also, it is pre-booked 1 year ahead. That's how the wine industry has changed the incomes and livelihoods of farmers. So therefore, as a Farmers Commission, it became very, very important for us to look at this dimension. So here we look at the Indian wine industry. Here we have a projected 16%. And if you look at here, if you look here at the top, this is the beverage consumed, and the CAGR 3.8 in alcoholic. And you see here, wine is 6.4 is the highest. And even the projection is 11.9 with a 16% projected growth from 2024 to 2033. And a lot of it is being driven by whom? By the young people and women. Because what we have seen time and time again is fruit wines are sweet. A lot of them are sweet. Quite a number of them are also dry. But we have seen that a lot of women, irrespective of where they are, where they come from, they prefer sweet wines. And also, we have found out that these particular fruit wines go very well with Indian cuisine, especially with spices. It kind of balances out the spiciness of the food, and the sweetness adds to the taste of the food. Because I know a lot of people who actually add, in Gujaratis they add gur to the food also. This is another thing. Okay, and then we have this. We have the category of RTDs, ready to drink beverages, and this is seeing a growth now. And I think it started from, way back, it started from when paperboard launched the Ampana. That's when, the Indian population realized that something traditional, which is usually made at home, can actually become a mass market product. And then you have Amul with buttermilk and, all the other formulations. So the RTD market is a market that's driven by young people, we call them millennials or the Z generation, people with disposable incomes. So, and people who are looking, and young people who are looking to move away from grape wines, because this idea, this image that a lot of young people have is that grape wines are for the older guys, guys like me, who gray hair and who don't who like to sit down, don't dance around, don't jump around with a bottle of wine. And that's the image that grapes have with fine dining. What I like about Fusante and Himalayan nectars of Nagesh is that it comes in a 375 or 330 both format, and in a 6-pack or 4-pack. So it's very easy to take along with you when you're going for a picnic. So you open, pop the bottle. It's like a beer. So the fun part of it is there. The fun part of it, that's where it comes in. So a lot of fruit wines are associated with fun and having a good time. Summer, very summery, very refreshing, especially in Indian summers. Whereas grape wines are more associated with candlelight, soft lights, late night dinners. I don't know, but probably I would not drink grape wine in the daytime. It's more of an evening drink. So that's where the appeal comes in. And current industry players, Rhythm Winery introduced strawberry and pear wines in Maharashtra. Ilzil, Nagesh and his wife, the former company, they created the sparkling meads, and in fact, I can tell you that one of the brands, Arc, which Nagesh makes, is probably one of the best meats you'll get in the country today. Limited stocks, I think. I hardly get the bottle. Resvera, again, Piyush Somani launched the world's first pure Jamun wine. And Jamun, as you know, has a lot of antioxidants. So the USP of this wine is that it's an anti-aging wine. I don't know whether it actually makes you younger, but after a couple of bottles, it definitely does. Okay. So, and then we have your Dajit Enjoy Wineries, Asami, which is a lady from Garo Hills who makes a lady farmer who makes blue pea wine, blue pea mead actually, a very unique, very different color, very unique taste. And then there's a fruit called bloodfruit, Hematocarpus validus. It's a rare fruit that grows only in the Garo Hills of Meghalaya, for which a blood red wine is made out of. And this has also garnered a lot of attention during the Vinexpo events. And then you have Arunachal Pradesh with Nara Aba, and then another new one is there, Norfel. Sikkim has now wineries. Then you have UP has launched its first UP. I mean, we never expected UP to start making fruit wines, but then they are launching, I think, probably more than 10 fruit wineries this year. And of course, Himachal Pradesh has been in the game for a very long time, but they recently set up an 80 crore winery in near Shimla, Parla, which is focused more on ciders and vinegar. And then you have Northeast, where the emerging wines are coming from the Northeast. And you have Meghalaya. We, of course, project ourselves as the upcoming food and wine capital of the country. Fruit wine and meat capital. Just like Nasik is the grape wine capital of the country. Primarily because of the kind of diversity we have, the kind of fruits that we have. We have 17 wineries, licensed wineries, which are, I think we are the second highest in the country. Himachal has 22, I think maybe more now. But again, Meghalaya is also expanding. We have Arunachal, which actually started first with its kiwi wines. And then we have Sikkim, which is blending the traditional with modern. And Shimuguras is a winery that is experimenting with spices and herbs. They're also doing a lot of experimentation. And then we have Mizoram, Assam, and Tripura, which are also contemplating getting into the fruit wine sector. In fact, Assam has already modified its excise policy to allow the manufacture of fruit wines. They are doing rice wine, which of course Dr. Sharma will be talking about. So a lot of these states are now looking and seeing that the effect of fruit wines is having on on ordinary farmers' lives. I would put it that way. And this is how we started. 1947, India's first winery was established under license from the British government by Captain Harold Douglas Hunt, who settled in England. He was a captain in the British Army. And he started making wines from the local fruit called soyum, which is a prune. It's a Prunus nepalensis, actually. It grows a lot in England. And he started making a brandy from there, which was exported to England at that point of time. 1980, the winery burned down, there was an accident, so they stopped. But then by that time, people had started learning the art of making wine. And let us not forget that in the northeastern states, fermentation is nothing new. Fermentation is part of our lives, in the sense that we ferment fish, we ferment bamboo shoot, we ferment soya bean, we ferment a lot of vegetables, because that's the only way to preserve these products during the monsoons. So fermentation is something that we are very familiar with. And we do a lot of fermentation of rice. So a lot of rice beer, known by various names across the Northeast, rice beer, rice liquor, it's all being made. And then millets also, we use millets for making liquor. So therefore fermentation was nothing new. It's only that people never thought of doing it with fruits. And then in 2004, as I said, that one of IKONs, Mr. Michael Sabe, he started the Shillong Wine Festival. It started from very small. I think hardly there were I remember there were only about 6 winemakers. And that festival has been an annual event year after year, and I think last year was the 20th year last year, which has been going on, and it's become a major tourist attraction, actually. So, and this has helped a lot in breaking the taboos, the social taboos associated with wines. People started to see it as an enterprise opportunity. People started to see it as a tourism potential. People started to see it as a value addition. And then 2019, we organized the Northeast Food Show by Sial. This was in collaboration with Sial Paris. It was one of the biggest food shows in the Northeast. With participants from across the globe came in, especially from Southeast Asia. And this is where our chief minister at that point of time saw these wines coming from Bhutan, from Sikkim, coming from even Nasik, coming in this event. And then he also saw a lot of our wines, our winemakers like Tajid here, they were there. Then he asked Mr. Kumar and myself, he said that, why can't we make wines like these? And I said that we don't have a policy. Then he said that, let's make the policy. So we made the policy in 2020. We amended the policy in 2020. We amended the excise rules to make it simpler, to allow fermentation for fruits, and to make it simpler and easy for people to get a license. And that's how the story started. And behind it was, of course, the Meghalaya Farmers Empowerment Commission, which drafted and also helped the government to actually draft a policy, to put in place a liberal yet also regulated system that would encourage small winemakers to come forward and actually become commercial. We facilitated and then we replaced a lot of those rules that were very old and not applicable. And the key takeaways are there, of course, an excise license in Meghalaya for making fruit wines costs 7,500 per year. And the ad valorem or excise duty is about 100 rupees per case. So 2,000 rupees per label. These are very, very, very cheap. as compared to other states, where a license would cost you nothing less than 35,000 to 50,000 for some couple of lakhs for liquor. These are very, very cheap. And I'm happy to say that a lot of our winemakers have taken advantage of this and set up their own wineries. And so what happened was that when we sent a lot of our winemakers to Nasik, first of all to expose them to the industry, we realized that what Nasik had to teach us was there was a lot of learning, especially in how they've been using modern technology for fermentation. But then there was a realization that we cannot afford to keep sending hundreds of people to Nasik every month. So we decided to set up our own winery. So we decided to set up our own winery, which was called the Northeast Fruit Wine Incubation Center. This is a winery. It's a small 1,000 liter capacity winery, but with everything in it. And everything that is needed to make fruit wines. And this was started in the campus of the Institute of Hotel Management, because the Institute of Hotel Management also has a course which involves training people, their students in winemaking, and also how to understand wines. So it was the ideal location. And today the Institute of Hotel Management Shillong is the only IHM in the country with its own winery. And now they're going to put in place a diploma course. We've been running that course over the last 2.5 years. But now the IHM will be taking over and running and putting in place a diploma course to teach people in winemaking. So this is the training that has been happening in the NEFWIC. This is Nagesh, of course, training winemakers from Sikkim. We've had winemakers from Kerala, from Sikkim, from Tamil Nadu, from besides Meghalaya, from the other northeastern states. A lot of people have come to this winery to be trained. And here we have all the parameters required to turn anybody into a professional winemaker. Of course, that is the science part of it and the making part of it. A lot of it also depends on the passion and the art, because winemaking is both a science and an art. And why did we set it up? Primarily because we looked at we were looking at a specific demographic, which means the youth and women. Because even traditionally, a lot of brewing that happens in the village is actually done by women. And women, we have seen that, of course, it can vary from state to state, but in Meghalaya, women in the Northeast are very, very enterprising. And I think because they're more invested into the future, so they are better and in fact more, enterprising than many men. So therefore, that's the target group, women and youth. Because Meghalaya is a very young state, we have about 63% of our population is below 35. And that's a demographic that is creating a lot of headaches for us in the government, because it's a very aggressive, it's a very active, it's a very energetic population. And unless we are able to channelize that energy into sustainable, sustainable activities, we'll be facing a social challenge some 5-10 years down the line. So it's very important that we actually are able to show youth the way to a career path or maybe an enterprise path. And of course, a lot of these wineries have come up, all of these 16, 17 wineries have been trained here, all of them. And of course, device drink solution, of which Nagesh is one part, that is Priyanka, his wife. They are our technical partners. Their core expertise is R&D. Wine, as I told you, they are experts in fermentation. And they've come up with a lot of fermentation techniques for different kinds of fruits, different kinds of vegetables. And also been able to scale up micro enterprises. A lot of the SOPs and also the curriculum that we are using has been developed by both husband and wife. And probably the curriculum and the SOPs that we have right now, these are the only ones probably in the entire country. Nobody else has them. So then the vision for us is simple. Establishing Meghalaya as India's fruit wine capital. I mean, that title is up for grabs right now. I mean, a lot of the other states also can possibly become the fruit wine capital because, like, for example, Telangana has huge production of guavas and pineapples and also, I think, mangoes. Mango, I think, is the major product, yes. And mango makes very good wine. Very good wine. Second is empowering farmers. That is core to our mandate. Generating youth employment, again, youth employment in rural areas. Because our winery will generate employment right from apprenticeship, winemakers, then people who harvest the fruits, the farmers who grow the fruits, okay? So, and then people who actually distribute it, the distributors, vendors, then also developing wine resorts. Again, because of the landscape, the kind of terrain that we have, and the kind of tourism potential that is there in the northeast and in Meghalaya, combine it with wine, where you have orchards, strawberry orchards or blueberry orchards, and you have a winery next to it, which you can actually pick the fruits from there, make your own wine. Then maybe after about 2 weeks, the bottle is shipped to you that this is the wine made by you, or from the fruit selected by you. Possible. There are so many permutation combinations that can happen. And then we have licensed wineries, 29 internship participants, 197 winemakers trained till date. And more are, I think the latest is around 15, 20, huh? 20, so we add 20 more to that. 217, yeah. So these are the fruits. Probably many of them you might not have seen. Okay. We have, of course, the star, which is the Soyum Prunus nepalensis. The Prunus nepalensis, that is the fruit which is makes a very good, both a good sweet and dry wine. We have the bloodfruit and the wild apple, or the crab apple, they call it in English. The Khazi mandarin, very difficult fruit to make wine out of, but then if you succeed, the taste and the flavor is just amazing. You open the bottle and the room smells of orange. We have the what we call in Garo the Telegison or the Prunus jenkinsi, which makes it very unique. I would say a unique musky wine, which has a lot of antioxidant properties. We have solan, plums, and of course pineapple. And there are many more. In fact, there are 28. There are 28 different types of wines that are being produced in Meghalaya right now. So 2020 was the policy reform. Okay. 2023 we set up the training center. 2024 we actually showcase our wines. 23 and 24 we actually showcase our wines at the to an international audience in Vinexpo, Mumbai, and in Delhi. And in 2025 we are looking at expanding the training and expanding the number of winemakers, not only within the state, but across the entire country. Because we believe that the fruit wine revolution should happen in every state. Because every state has farmers. Every state has the same problem of forced local disposal. Every state has a problem of wastage in the supply chain. Every state has a problem of addressing farmers' livelihoods. And we believe that fruit wine is one avenue. I'm not saying it's the only avenue, it's one avenue. That if probably, curated, can actually make a difference to people's lives. So we have the new entrance, 2019, of course, Kanjai Winery started, now with 8,000 liters. Then we have these Lamonte, Kevel, these are boutique wineries again. Then we have the Blue Pea. And outside the Northeast, we have Device from Bordi, Maharashtra. And then we have, of course, earlier it was Frusante under Hills Wines. They made the sparkling wines. and they now have Himalayan nectars in Himachal. So then we also have, moonshine, meaderies, Serena. I don't know whether Serena is still functioning or not. Still functioning, okay. They also do make meats. So why fruit wines, as I told you, is because it addresses, the fruit, the post-harvest losses through value addition. A lot of rural livelihoods have been transformed. As I told you, there have been instances where farmers, you have to, there's a kiwi farmer actually. He grows around 3 tons of kiwi every year. And he used to bring, 200 kilos, 100 kilos to a market every day to sell. And sometimes he could sell them, sometimes he could not sell them. And in fact, the video is on our website, you can see it. So what happened was that when the winemakers came, he then sold entire, they bought 1 ton, 2 tons of fruit. And he was telling us, he said that every time I have to sell 100 kilos, my going, coming, transport, and sometimes he's not able to sell his entire produce. He has to just sell it at a throwaway price or even just throw it away. But he said ever since fruit winemakers came to know that he's having big production, they are lifting straight. They call him, he calls him, he says, look, I have about 2 tons of fruit about to be harvested, and they just lift it straight. So it not only gives him a better income, it also saves him a lot of money because they live directly from the farm. He doesn't need to go to the market anymore. They come and pick it from the farm itself. So, and then there are people who have trees of prune trees. Okay, they used to harvest a tree and they get around 3,000 rupees a tree to sell the fruit. Today they don't even have to harvest it. Winemakers come, they book the tree 1 year ahead. 16,000 per tree, and then they come and harvest it. So it's like, you're sitting at home and, it's money is coming to you. So it's transforming people's lives, yes. So then Indian consumers, in fact, a lot of interest, as we've seen from Urban Expo, a lot of hotel, restaurant chains are very, very interested in keeping these wines in their bars. But the thing is that excise being a state subject, there are still challenges to be overcome from state to state, which is something that needs working together at various government levels. But yes, the interest is there, the demand is there. And of course, lower alcohol percentage beverages, a lot of people are turning away from whiskey and the beer and the rum, kind of liquor. A lot of people are turning to lower alcohol percentage beverages like ciders and wines. And fruit wines fit this niche perfectly. So if you look at this as a brief of the policy landscape that is in the country, so give you an understanding of where the different states are, is that Meghalaya, we had reformed or actually amended the excise rules to make it very easy for winemakers, home winemakers to scale up and become commercial. UP launched the Winters rule and approved pilot winery making. Okay, again, UP also looked at it from the rural development angle. They saw fruit wine as being one of the pathways to actually improve rural livelihoods. Then Kerala, in fact, Kerala Agriculture University launched a new brand of wine made from cashew apple, which is called Mila. I think this was launched just this year. And a lot of cashew apples, as you very well know, in Goa they turned it into fenny. But then the cashew apple can be turned into so many other things, including energy drinks. Okay, and that's a potential that has never been explored as yet. And wine is one of those. Then Madhya Pradesh, also they made it part of their agriculture strategy. Because again, the realization started happening, I think we have been seeing this change happening since 2021. When Mr. Kumar first made that statement, which actually made headlines in the grape world, that there's this one person who's saying that, we should do away with grapes. And I do agree, because see, grape is not indigenous to our country. It is imported. And we are importing the grapes, we are importing the machinery, we are importing the winemaker, okay, we're importing everything. We're making the wine here in the country, but we're not able to export it. In what sense does that make? Because of the various non-tariff trade barriers that exist, the appellations and the the whole system that has been created to keep non-European wines out of Europe. I mean, I say that very frankly, it's a non-tariff trade barrier. So why should we bow down to that? I mean, why should we accept that as God's truth? No. We can create our own conversation, we can create our own story, we can create our own parallel, because wine we have much more than grapes. So therefore, Madhya Pradesh has made it as part of the agriculture strategy. Himachal, of course, has been doing it for donkey's years. Karnataka is observing. Okay. In fact, we took a lot of pointers from the Karnataka Wine Board on how they've gone about it. Then we modified, before we started modifying our policies, we looked at Himachal, we looked at Arunachal, we looked at the other states that have been doing it. And Karnataka doesn't have a clear fruit wine provision yet. And Maharashtra, of course, has gone grape-centric and has left out fruit wines, to be very frank. And that has actually resulted in has actually killed, I would say, killed the fruit wine industry in Maharashtra. So the title is now up for grabs. Okay, so anyone in the other states can take over. Looking at this, I'll not go through this. This presentation is here with the organizers. You can have a look at it. But then, very simple. These are the policy framework, the tax incentives, and the status as of 2024. So, but from here to sum it up, Meghalaya and UP are the leading examples where government support has jump-started the industry. And I think it's important that for government to lead, it's important that this advocacy comes from government. First of all, the advocacy has to come from people also, because then, government pushing things and unless people accept it will not work. So therefore, there is a need of sensitization for people and also for government to be sensitive to what people want. That kind of governance is required to be able to actually push through a policy like this and then ensure that it reaches industry status. And the government of India also has certain schemes like street food processing does support fruit wines. Nectar, of course, will talk about what Nectar has been doing. And if you look at the case study, very simple, is that the fruit wine sector in Meghalaya actually started from the Farmers Commission, and by incubating, advocating policy, and also helping in marketing, then establishment of a training winery. Because a training winery is important. Now, as we'll be talking about the difference, why training is important, because it's not like any other, because each and every fruit has a different character. And you have to be able to understand the character of the fruit to be able to turn it into an excellent wine. Unless you understand the character of the fruit, its acidity, its sugar, its flavor profile, and what is the kind of flavor that you're looking for, you will not be able to succeed. So that is important. And you need to understand the science behind fermentation. A lot of what we do is cold fermentation, we call it. So that retains the flavor. Because a lot of the fruit flavors, especially passion fruit, is very delicate, very volatile, highly volatile flavor. So if you make a mistake, we end up with no flavor at all. So to maintain that flavor, you need to do a very controlled, very low temperature kind of fermentation, which takes a little bit of training. It's not impossible, can be learned. And you have all these, capacity building, market access, And then, of course, the vision is actually we are also planning to set up a wine and mead board and a wine park, and also probably a kind of not an SEZ, but a more of a wine park for both common facility centers for winemakers as well as for tourism purposes. And a lot of support is coming now from various agencies. So then we have, when we look at this, at the wine market in general, and more specifically in fruit wines, health and wellness orientation. A lot of people, especially after COVID, become more health conscious. We see a lot of demand spiking for things like turmeric and wild pepper, and for the medicinal ginger, black ginger. Then we see a lot of demand coming from the pharmaceutical industries for herbs, because people have become more health conscious and people are eating healthier. Again, that is because of also the penetration of the social media as well as internet into the rural areas. And then your flavor, a lot of people are looking for different flavors. They're looking for new flavors, new tastes, new experiences. Then fruit wines are sweeter, lighter, and appeal to this particular demographic, which means women and new drinkers. People who just graduated, literally graduated into drinking wine. They find wines much more, fruit wines much more appealing. It gives you less of a hangover. It doesn't give you a hangover anyway. Okay, so, and the rise of the ready-to-drink industry, this is also what is actually propelling and actually appealing to people, because fruit wines, because of the very nature, the color, the nature, the characteristic of being fruity and sweet and summery, it lends itself very well to an RTD, to a ready-to-drink format. So therefore, that is also driving. And then also you have this experiential experience where you have a wine with a story behind it. That it comes from a particular place. It's probably made from a very rare fruit which is found nowhere else in the country. And it's grown organically in these remote villages. It's harvested in mountain ranges. So the story also appeals. And then there's a lot of people who are ready to travel to experience that. And that's where wine tourism comes in. So that's where you have the last trend, which is actually driving this now emerging trend. There's an emerging market. So investments in this sector can be at various levels. Can be at the first level, that is the fruit cultivation, supply orchards, gardens, orchards. Then collection centers, contract farming. Then we have winery operations, and setting up a fruit winery is not very expensive as compared to a big industry. Okay, for about 75 lakhs, you can set up a reasonably sized winery. And then product and brand development, of course, that's where a lot of it matters, is because your packaging, your branding, your placement, your pricing, how you use influences nowadays, or how you tell the story. That is important because that's what's going to make your brand stand out. Like for example, I always take this example. I don't know how many of you have seen a wine called Chocolate Block. Okay, it's a South African grape wine, but the label is just a simple plain white label with just Chocolate Block written on it, and it's like, you see a lot of wine labels, very fancy, very a lot of artwork on it, which look very antique or unique or very classy. But this is a wine that is just a simple white label, a written Chocolate Block, that's all. And it stands out on the shelf. When you look at the shelf, you see, okay, that's a white label with Chocolate Block written on it. And the wine sells for around 7,000 rupees, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm not saying that that's a good wine. Many other better wines, but then that's the kind of branding that makes a difference. Distribution and retail is also an area where investors can very well come in. And wine, tourism, and hospitality, which I've spoken about. So we look at this, nearby countries, Southeast Asia, these are the countries that are familiar with fruit wines because they do produce their own fruit wines, but then their consumption is also very high. Like you don't see Chinese plum wines outside China. A lot of it is consumed within China. You have orchid wines from China, but then you don't get it because the consumption is so high. A lot of the Indian diaspora outside, because of the properties of fruit wines, that they can pair very well with Indian dishes. A lot of people who come to Meghalaya from NRIs, they take back bottles after bottles. They take a lot of bottles back because it goes very well with Indian cuisine. Brand storytelling, of course, I've spoken about that, how you talk about ethical branding, supporting women's groups, because a lot of these wineries are also run by SHGs and women groups. Challenges remain, yes, regulatory challenges remain, and the one biggest challenge is, of course, the excise regime, because every state has a different excise regime. Some states have an open regime. It's easy to put your wines into that state. Some states demand charge a very high rate of about maybe 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs per label. So therefore, there are entry barriers there. Global differentiation, like for example, there are many unique things that we can make. As for example, a lychee wine or an Alfonso mango wine would be really something that would be amazing. It would be a one-of-a-kind wine in the market, actually. And of course, for the international market, the support of APIDA. APIDA, recently, over the last 2 years, APIDA has also started taking notice. It started organizing and helping winemakers showcase their wines abroad, in London, and across Europe, and even in Asia. Also. So strategic, probably this is something that is for more for governance. Recognize food wine as a distinct category. This is something that we've been pushing for. Create dedicated food wine boards, okay, and simplify interstate movement and rationalize excise. Like if our winemakers are paying 7,500 for a license, excise license fee, probably other states can come around maybe 10,000, 15,000. But then not that some states will have to pay 10,000 and some states you have to pay 5 lakhs. That's too big amount. Collaborate, of course, industry collaboration, skill development training. Launch certified winemaking courses in the agri-universities, expand training programs, subsidize training programs through Skill India or Aspire, and enable priority sector lending, because right now it doesn't fall under priority sector lending, but if it is brought within the ambit of agriculture, it can be a priority sector lending for the financial institutions. Then, of course, RQBY, RAFTA, MSME, innovation grants are there. Then, quality assurance cell analysis and assurance cell under FSCCI, that is important. Because right now, the FSCCI is still not very sure about the standards for fruit wines. I think this is going to be an evolving debate between us and FSCCI. And then encourage participation. So these things are what we see as potential strategic recommendations. Call to action: include fruit wines in export promotions, which APIDA has started doing. Single window clearances, R&D, important. Every state, I think, has to invest in R&D because every state has its own unique products, which can be turned into wines. That is the reason why I think this is very, very important. But R&D has to happen. Because what works for us may not work for you here. What works for you here may not work for somebody else in Kerala. Okay, so there are different fruits, there are different terrain, There's something that we call in agriculture called agronomic shift, which changes the quality or the characters of a plant when it moves from place to place. So that is required. Sector lending integrate food buying into agri-tech and food processing incubators. And then of course we have for entrepreneurs, share resources. This is so important because an entrepreneur talking to another entrepreneur is much more powerful than say me talking to an entrepreneur. They say you're a government guy. You're supposed to say this, okay? But an entrepreneur sharing his experiences is different. That's a different level of it. That's peer-to-peer engagement. So showcase fruit wines, explore, of course, hybrid beverages, functional wines. Functional beverages create not only wines. Here I'm talking about not only wines here. When we talk about functional, we are also talking about using fermentation to create functional beverages. Beverages with a very specific health, component. Like for example, resveratrol or JAMA. Resveratrol is the chemical that actually gives it the antioxidant property. I'm sorry, I'm just recovering from a cold. So resveratrol is the chemical that actually gives the JAMA its antioxidant, anti-aging property, and some of course say that it also has an anti-diabetic function. But fermenting it can also enhance its properties. So it need not be limited only to fruit wines. It need not be limited only to alcoholic beverages. Fermentation as a process can actually also be used to create zero alcohol functional beverages. So that's something that is probably a new industry can come up in that respect. So this is what we are looking at. Beyond the grape, this fruit wines are no longer just a hobby. Earlier, even in Meghalaya, it started off as a hobby. People were making fruit wines at home and distributing to their friends, giving to their friends and selling it. Then people started tasting and saying that this is really good. Why are you not making it commercially? And that's how this whole story started. So it has to move from being a hobby to a growing industry. And it aligns very well with India's vision of empowering our people and also making it here. Thank you very much. Of course, these are the people who have been instrumental in the journey, and these are people who have been really, really, behind us and who are still actually working towards growing the sector.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nagesh. I have co-founded Hilsel Wines, Himachal Nectars, and Device Drink Solutions. Hilsel Wines and Himachal Nectars being my manufacturing units. Hilsel Wines based off Maharashtra, which we closed down in March 2024 due to the policy shift of the Maharashtra government. Himachal Nectars is based in Himachal Pradesh, and Device is more of a consulting, trading company wherein I help people develop fruit wines. Oh, thank you. I think that we can go on to the slides. Okay, so what are fruit wines? Fruit wines are wines made from fruits other than grapes. Under fruit wines, there is also a category for mead, which is wine made from honey, right? What is different to fruit wine than grape wines? How many of us know what is a Merlot? How many of us know what is a Sauvignon Blanc? How many of us know what is a Riesling? Anyone? So basically these are the names of grapes. varietals of grapes. But if I tell you what is mango, pineapple, strawberry, star fruit, jamun, chiku, everybody would know, right? That is where we come in. We introduced fruit wines to the country back in 2016, where we started off making wine from chiku. So as mentioned many times, that chiku is the most difficult fruit to make wine from. Why is it so difficult to make wine from chikus or wine from any other fruit, right? All this while in India, nobody had explored this possibility of making wine from other fruits, right? People were just going by the book saying, grape se wine banta hai, isse banao. Pneumatic aata hai, balloon press, usse lo, and then you make it. So when we got into the process of making chiku wine for the first time, there were 10,000 questions ahead of us. How to extract juice from chikus? Because chiku is very pulpy. Chiku once ripe will die off tomorrow. It is so high in pH that it will ferment on its own without doing anything. So there was a need for us to devise an equipment which would extract juice from chikus and at the same time extract quickly, so that the juice does not become vinegar even before converting it into wine, right? So we made a machine. I am a mechanical engineer, my wife is a mechanical engineer, then got into winemaking. So we devised a machine to extract juice from chikus. So chiku juice can be extracted at 350 bars of pressure when applied onto a given surface area. That was the experimentation that we did. Clear chiku juice. If you can call it also chiku nectar. It is super sweet. If I have to talk in the terms of bricks, it will range around 24 bricks. Can give you easily about 12%, 13% alcohol. Right? So that was a breakthrough for us. When Priyanka said, Nagesh, we have cracked the idea of extracting juice from chikus, what's next? I said, sabko ferment kar dein. Right? So, when we started a factory in Maharashtra, we started making wines from the fruits of Maharashtra. So, fruits of Maharashtra were mango, pineapple, strawberry, chiku, and star fruit. Right? Along with that, we also fermented the honey from Maharashtra. Our idea was to only process the fruits of Maharashtra because we are primarily, my father is a farmer, Priyanka's father is a farmer, so we have a background of farmers, so we said we will be supporting the farmers of Maharashtra only, we will not get fruits from anywhere outside, right? So that's where we started from, and the journey began wherein Priyanka today is one of the top 10 fruit winemakers of the country, or rather winemakers of the country, and only one fruit winemaker who has expertise to ferment anything, provided it has sugar in it. Right? So the process of making fruit wine. The first process is sorting. But that sorting is not done in the factory, right? We deal directly with the farmers, and when we talk to anyone, or even the people of Meghalaya, where we train them to make fruit wine, we said you have to work with the farmers. And why work with the farmers, right? Farmer is somebody who wants best value for his product because he works hard to produce that product. Any fruit can be, any fruit or vegetable. But when he goes to the market, what happens to his fruit? The good looking fruit or good looking vegetable gets the maximum value. What happens to a shapeless fruit? What happens to a fruit which has got a little bit of dent somewhere, right? Those fruits are rejected because nobody will buy it. So the sorting happens in the farms of the farmer, wherein somebody like us who goes to him and he says, you sell the best fruit outside. Whichever fruits you think are not sellable outside, they are a little small in size, or they have got a little dent somewhere, or they are shapeless, give it to us. Right? We will pay you on the spot. Maybe you are getting say 100 rupees a kilo for that good looking fruit. This fruit which you are about to throw, I will still give you 80 rupees. Right? I am saving, because if I had to go and buy from the market, the dealer would have charged me 120 or 150 rupees per kilo. Over here, the farmer who was about to throw it, he is gaining 80 rupees. I am saving 80 rupees. Right? So that is where the sorting comes into picture, where the fruits are sorted by the farmer for us. All mature fruits, beautiful fruits, good, juicy, high in sugar. Farmer does it for us because he is getting money for the fruit that he was about to throw. Then comes juice extraction. Every fruit is unique. Chiku is unique, mango is unique, kala jamun is unique, strawberry is unique, pineapple is unique. So every fruit will have some process that has to go through to extract juice from it, right? So is the ripening process of the fruit. The farmer will sell you a fruit which is raw. What do you do next? Like when we made mango wine, we would process about 12 tons of mango a day. How did I do it? If you happen to ripen the mangoes naturally, 1 or 2 mangoes will ripen today, maybe 3 tomorrow, maybe 5 tomorrow. But when you make wine, you have to have all the 12 tons ripened today. So there's a requirement for ripening chambers. Ripening chambers help you ripen the fruit in the capacity that you want. So ripening for chiku is different, mango is different, pineapple is different. Right? All that came from experimentation. For us as Indians, we believe that when you put the fruit in a warm place, it will ripen. Ghas mein rakh do, somebody will put it in the rice, somebody will put it under the gunny bag, right? But scientifically, if you want to ripen the fruit, fruit ripening happens very nicely in a ripening chamber because the ripening chamber is equipped with ethylene gas. Ethylene gas is a natural form of gas, right? But has to be managed in a very nice manner, right? For example, many people say कि एक सड़ा हुआ आम बाकी आम को सड़ा देगा, right? What is that सड़ा हुआ आम doing? A rotten mango is emitting uncontrolled amount of ethylene gas on its own. So what happens? Other mango starts to ripen very fast, and so when it is not checked upon, this fruit gets rotten, and hence they say एक सड़ा हुआ आम दूसरे आम को सड़ा देगा. Over here, in the ripening chambers, you control the amount of ethylene gas, so it's just enough to expedite the process of ripening and even ripening. So our chambers would ripen all the 20 tons of fruit in 4 days of time. 4 days mein ripen ho gaya. On the 5th day, it will go through crushing. Mango will only go through pulping process. Mango juice cannot be extracted. We have tried and failed. And we settled mango juice cannot be extracted, so we process mango by pulp only. Chiku again went through ripening, crushed in a special fruit mill which would not break the chiku seed. Chiku seed is bitter, right? You don't want to impart your bitter flavors into the wine. Your wine has to be nice, tasty, like sir said, sweet. It has to be tasty, right? So all such processes put together. Different fruits will go through different processes. Juice will be extracted. The juice so extracted will go into fermentation. In fermentation, we as fruit winemakers, our fruits are delicate. We cold ferment. Cold fermentation happens in the range of 12 to 15 degrees Celsius depending on what sort of a fruit are you using. Right? So cold fermentation happens. Fermentation takes place for about 20 to 25 days of time where the sugar in the fruit is converted into alcohol. Simple. Yeast has no other job. You give sugar in the juice, it will eat the juice, reproduce more yeast, and end of the day when the sugar is over, they will die. So after the fermentation is over, we go through cold stabilization because yeast is something which will hibernate and will get activated the moment it's in contact with sugar, right? So cold stabilization helps you kill the yeast, at the same time clarify the wine by cold cracking, where the floating byproducts of fermentation are there, they will settle down and a clean wine will be available for filtration. Before filtration, there is one more process of balancing the wine, right? Because all the sugar in the juice is converted into alcohol. Now the wine is dry, but for an Indian palate, or rather the entire world that has fruit wine, they have it sweet. Now, how much sweet? Every fruit is unique. Chiku has to be sweetest, but strawberry cannot be so sweet. Star fruit cannot be so sweet. Jamun cannot be so sweet. The art is what comes into picture here, wherein you identify the fruit and balance the sugar and acids in a way that a person who is drinking the product can relate to the fruit. Right? That is where the balancing act comes in. Then you filter. Filtration goes through different equipment. After the filtration is done, the bottling takes place. So over here, in the making or in the process of fruit wine making, we are very different than a grape wine. Grape wine, people are known for formula wine making. उनको मालूम है sugar इतना है, उसको कितना alcohol मिलेगा, how much to dilute, how much more sugar to put, that's it. They are not worried about what goes into making of a fruit wine. That is where people like us come into picture, right? We train people from day one. Right? Now let's talk about honey. Honey is not acidic, no? It's sweet when you taste it. But the moment you ferment it, the moment it goes into fermentation, the formic acid in the honey activates. Has anybody got honeybee sting ever? Right? Everyone? It burns, right? The burning sensation is because of the formic acid present in honey. That formic acid, when in fermentation, gets activated and the acids of that honey-water combination shoots up so much that it stops fermentation. Abhi kya karna hai? Right? So, formula wine making will never teach you this. Similarly, star fruit. Star fruit comes in with a lot of oxalic acid. Right? When that oxalic acid is present to such an extent, the pH of the juice is about 2.7, 2.6. You cannot ferment at that level. You have to bump up the acid in a way that it's up to 3.5, and then you can start. There are chemicals available which you can use to bump up these things. Right? These are very different. Formula wine making is not equal to fruit wine making. Fruit wine, every fruit is unique. Right? So these are certain things that Sir has already touched base. So I can just talk to you about experiences over here. All this put together, agro-tourism, experiential tourism, high local fruit availability. I'll talk about Chiku. Where I come from is a place called Dahanu, right? We produce 200 tons of Chiku every day. Every single day, 200 tons of fruit. We, as in not me alone, the entire town put together, 200 tons every day. So when Priyanka had come back to India back in 2008, 2009, her father being a chiku farmer, he said, I have to go somewhere. These are the chikus we have plucked. A vendor will come, pick it up and go. You just have to sign the challan. He said, okay. The vendor came. When the vendor came, he made a challan of 2 rupees a kilo. Priyanka, who had just come back from US then, she refused to sell the chikus. They were 2 tons. From our farm alone, 2 tons. The father came back furious. What will you do with this chiku now? They will rot tomorrow. That's where the idea starts. Let's make wine. We as mechanical engineers, we wanted to not make wine first. We made juice, but the juice got spoiled. And because it got spoiled, we converted it into wine slowly, steadily. But that effort of ours, or that decision of Priyanka's, that she refused to sell that 2 rupee a kilo fruit to a vendor, today, after 17 years and rigorous efforts of we promoting the fruit into wine, today our farmers are selling the fruit at 35 rupee a kilo. That's an achievement. So, when you have excess, we thought of making or glamorizing that fruit, right? To which we got succeeded in a way. Challenges. First challenge is at home. Consumer awareness, forget it. First challenge is at home. I am a Brahmin. Gauda Saraswat Brahmin from Bangalore. My Amma, she said, shame on you, you are a Brahmin child, how can you make wine? I said, Amma, from my childhood, the first food that you fed me was idli, dosa. Is it fermented? I said, yes. I said, what am I doing there? I am extracting juice from fruits, just fermenting it and bottling it. You try. If you don't like it, then I will stop my business here and I will not look into it again. I will go back to US and do what I was doing. She said, okay, challenge accepted. I served her the pineapple wine. Nice, sweet, tangy, tasty, no smell of alcohol, nothing. That's the day 12 years back, and today is the day whenever we have dinner together, Amma has a glass of pineapple wine. So, consumer awareness is very, very important. Awareness, like I said, awareness begins from home. Our people taboo wine because they associate wine with any other alcohol, wherein PK gir jata hai, gutter mein it seems, right? Wine PK, nobody falls in gutter. Wine is just a fermented juice, right? So, consumer awareness first, then excise and FSI approvals with a lot of people coming into the state where they are recognizing there is a lot of food, waste of food, right? The government itself is taking initiative. When we went to take license for starting up our first winery in Maharashtra, the Maharashtra government asked us, "Isme kya thumbs up dal ke peete hain?" Right? So we educated the government that nahi, thumbs up nahi hai. This is just a fruit wine. We got our license, and then the policy came in 2017. Right? Lack of trained winemakers, yes. It's one of the challenges because there are not many institutes, or there are none, I would say. There's only one that has started in Meghalaya that we are training people to make fruit wines. If you take education from anywhere, there are 2 institutes in Maharashtra. One is Gargi, and then there is Vasantdada Sugar Institute in Pune. They are having this winemaking course, but they also only teach grape wine making. Fruit wine, nobody has touched till date. Market potential is huge because once you have trained your consumers, there are people in the urban market who want alternative to grape wine. Like sir said, grape wine is something, a glass here in the fine dining setup, you are sitting, sipping on a glass, and that's about it. Right? What next? Fruit wine, being low on alcohol, can be had anytime. Basis how you package it, different level of customers or different category of customers could be catered to. Right? Be it an afternoon or an evening setup, fruit wines can be had anytime. Export, we have so much of traction already, right? Like across the world, if you go, people talk about our mangoes, right? Mangoes from India are very juicy, delicious, tastes good, smells good. The moment you put something like a mango wine in the market, people go crazy. We tried that experiment in Expo London. Only there was Sula, Fratelli, you name the best of the wineries in the country. We were the only fruit wine stall in Expo London which had attracted so many people from London. They went crazy looking at our setup. We had mango wine and we had rose mead. Not the rosé from the rosé grape, but rose, gulab. We had the rose mead. So we provided, we put in good efforts, we get support from the government, we have the ingredients required for us to export, right? Our case studies, I already spoke about Frusciante. Frusciante name comes, little bit of chore I am. Frusciante name comes from frizzante. Frizzante are mildly carbonated grape wines from Italy. They are called as frizzante, but they are grapes. We made it Frusciante because we are using 100% fruit, and we also added some sort of carbonation into our product, hence Frusciante. So Frusciante, we made chiku, pineapple, mango, strawberry, star fruit. Each and every fruit unique, each and every product unique, each and every product taste-wise, smell-wise, audience preference-wise unique. We made the chiku wine, participated in a competition called Drinks Outside Grape in Virginia, United States of America, competing against 145 wineries, and we stood second. We got a silver medal for that. And like I said, our success we have got the success because we have collaborated with best of the farmers, right? I have pineapple farmers, strawberry farmers with whom I talk directly. There is no middleman. He gets his money paid on the spot, then he sends me the stocks, right? Another case study, thanks to KN sir and Solia sir, we were invited to collaborate with them, work with them, help their people or their entrepreneurs learn how to make fine wine making commercial. They were making wines in their traditional fashion, but we were introduced to them and we helped them. I have rather my success story here from Kinjai Winery. We have Dajid and Yanbao. So
They can raise.
huh?
We can see them. From the
Yeah.
back we can't see.
They want to see you. He is Dajid and Yanbao. They are from Kinjai Winery. So first when we said wine banane ke liye juice nikalne ke liye, everybody of these were, what are these people saying? How can you extract juice from fruits? Right? Because they were not using the techniques required for commercial winemaking. So we developed a small equipment which introduced them to juice extraction. And that's the day, 2.5 years back, to today, Dajid cannot do without it. Right? Dajid wants it day one. Then we also are working with the government of Sikkim now. The introduction that we got from Meghalaya, now we are working with Sikkim, slowly we'll start working with the government of Mizoram as well. To again, same purpose, to help their people move on from traditional winemaking practices to commercial winemaking practices. Right? Device is basically given birth by sir only. We were manufacturers before. Then sir said, Nagesh, why don't you also consult people, because your knowledge will help others learn. Hence device was formulated. Had it not been for sir, device would not have existed. So roadmap is basically, we suggest that before you venture into anything, you have to experiment, right? Do a feasibility study, do pilot studies, so that whatever you do, you have got some sort of a background as to, will this work? Like I was Priyanka's first monkey. When Priyanka made chiku wine for the first time, it was horrendous. Nobody else would have had it. I had to have it because she's my wife, what to do? I had it, but what we learned from that experimentation is alcohol generation was there, taste was third class. so we had to work on the taste, right? So we worked on the taste, we bettered it, and that's how we grew slowly, steadily. Had it not been for us to try that day, we would not have come this far, right? Establishing of processing hubs, your Northeast Fruit Wine Incubation Center is a classic example wherein it is set up for the people. Whoever interested in making wines can come, try, and I believe it's for anybody, right? Anybody in the country. You can come, try, see how it works for you. So, such setups should be developed across the country. Every state should have such centers where people can come and try their hand. If they try, they will do it. If they don't like, it's okay. Right? Building retail and tourism linkages. This is the biggest challenge. I shut my winery in Maharashtra because of this reason. Building the retail channel, which we couldn't. The government supported the grape wineries by giving them incentives, which the grape wineries utilized to dump in the market. The retailers were so much, they are not wrong by doing it, so much worried about their profits that they said 70% discount you are in. If you're not giving 70% discounts, I am not even bothering to sell fruit wine. Grapes were giving it. Grape wineries are giving it, they're still giving it. Maharashtra has a trend for buy one, get one free, buy one, get two free. That's not for consumers. No, not for consumers, it's for the retailers. Retailer still sells at MRP, no discount. Right? So that is very important to build retail and tourism linkages wherein a fruit winery is able to sell directly to such places. Right? Single window policy clearances, I think many people have started doing it. Previously, you had to go table to table. एक को set किया, दूसरे को set करो. Right? You had to do it. But now, thanks to single window clearances, licenses are being issued very easily. Tax incentives for local wines. Up to an extent, I would say yes. You have to incubate the local wineries till the time they come into the mainstream production, and that's the time when the incentive should be stopped, right? Otherwise, somebody like Sula can be developed overnight, right? This is our work. This is the Northeast Fruit Wine Incubation Center. That's how the small winery on the skid looks like. It's a 1,000-liter installed capacity, can do anything. It can produce wine from any fruit. It can make still wines as well as carbonated wines, right? Has got all the things required for filtration and balancing. Has got a small lab which can do all the necessary tests in-house, right? This is Fruzante. It looked like a beer bottle because we wanted to introduce this to the young crowd, wherein we did not want them to stick in a dilemma ki wine hai, fine dine leke baitho, and not enjoy it. This is like a beer, you drink it any time in the day. 6% alcohol, chiku, pineapple, strawberry, starfruit, and mango. Right? This is our brand Ark. This is a mead made from wild floral honey. In this, we have 3 variants: Ark Rose, Ark Honey, which is plain, and then Ark Jamun. Right? Rose is basically sun-dried rose petals, cold fermented along with the honey, and then the honey is just plain wild floral honey. Jamun is the jamun fruit co-fermented together with honey. This brand I have already sold to a very big company, and it will be launched in Hyderabad as well very soon. Right? This is my mass variety. 15% alcohol, base is apple juice, topped with sugar. Looks like beer, tastes like beer, and it goes in to each and every stores in Himachal Pradesh. It's a rave today. We are selling about 2,000 cases a month. No stoppage, crushing every day, selling every day. There is nothing fancy about it. It is just a mass product. Cheap, 150 rupees a bottle, 15% alcohol. One bottle does the job. This is the crown of Himachal Pradesh. It is very, very premium. It's again 375 ml cider bottle. Cider tea is the brand name. Why? Because cider comes from apple, and tea because we have used the Kangra chai into this. This is the only cider in Asia that you can have two ways. It is carbonated, so you can have it chilled. But Himachal, being Himachal, is very cold during winters. You can put a cinnamon stick and a little bit of honey into it, warm it up to your temperature tolerance, and sip it like a chai. Hence the cider tea. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Like sir said, we will go through the other presentations. Then I'm here available for the Q&A. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, Mr. Salia. I think there's nothing left to say about wine right now. Everything has been talked and in a detailed way. So, before going to what is the wine and all these things, I would like to just speak to you a little bit what we have been doing and how we are supporting and making it possible. So, allowed to do? Because I'm not going to tell about the wine too much already. Just talk about wine and all the policies and all these things. Sorry, has been mentioned in detail. We can discuss more details in the Q&A. So, can I have my presentation? So I'll just let you know that what are the activities that we have been doing and how you can also be take part of that this kind of activities. Basically, I am from Northeast Center for Technology Application and Reach. This is an organization, it's an autonomous body under Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. So our main idea is to, what we do normally, so what we normally do is that we look at different technologies which are available in different R&D institutions and take this technology for the societal development. And at the same time, we are also looking for, we are also giving large scale capacity building on different technologies which are possible for the society, which are required for the society. So in doing so, so as I did mention that this is our vision, basically, vision and vision, and as this is a unique organization in the country which looks after the technologies in different sectors, diverse sectors. Basically, as he was mentioning, what you have been talking about the wine. We also work wine, but we also work in different sectors like agriculture, horticulture, whatever the sectors are there available. Where there is a technology intervention is there, we work for that. And you know that I will give you a few examples that where you can see that what are the potential related to these technologies. And what I said is unique because Northeast itself is unique. Only 20 kilometers connected to the rest of the country. But around, you can see that 22,000 kilometers connected to the international border. So a lot of scopes are there. In Northeast, geographically it is huge potential over there. So as I did mention, we have been working in different sectors. You can see the sectors where we have been working, and in entire Northeast. We also provide support to the startup, and what about maybe for the young entrepreneurs, we have provide support. You can see almost 140 different projects that we have supported to the entire Northeast, worth around 33 CR. There is a scheme called Technology Oriented Service Scheme. You can go to the website Under this scheme, we provide a grant up to 25 lakhs to any entrepreneurs who are related, who wants to introduce new technology in different sectors. And of course, we also do a lot of work for the other central ministry for the development of Northeast. I will give some of the examples what we have been doing. So these are some of our activities which we have been working. That's I will not go more details about that. We can discuss more if some questions are there. But few success stories. You can see here the right hand side down saffron. Probably you know that saffron is only produced in Kashmir, three districts of Kashmir. But with the technology that we have in the country, particularly geospatial technology, we can scan through the satellite data. We can scan all three districts, find out what are the soil condition, environmental condition, all these things. So we try to do find out for three districts of Kashmir, and then scan all over the Northeast. To be a surprise, that we found 17 different places of Northeast exactly similar condition of three districts of Kashmir. 17 different places. And then we connected to the Kashmir Agriculture University, take the saffron palm over there, and now we are producing saffron in all of these 17 places in Northeast, and the quality of the saffron is much better than the quality of Kashmir saffron. Although there's no literature about the quality till now, but now this has been taken up in a big way, and we are in the market. We have given our saffron name the Ashtalakshmi saffron. So it is. So and more interestingly, only the women farmers are involved with us. And the best quality of saffron came from Mechuka. It's a very remote places of Arunachal Pradesh. By the way, I would also request you to all of you to go to Mechuka. If you have come to, many of you have come to, I think, Switzerland, far better place than Switzerland. So you please visit Mechuka. Mechuka and Shergaon and Girang are the three places in Arunachal Pradesh where saffron we are doing. In Meghalaya we are doing in Thansling, then Mairang, and Shillong Peak. There are three places. In Sikkim, and Dentam, Yakshon. These are beautiful places basically. And of course we have started this time in Arunachal, in Nagaland and Manipur also. And you see the importance of this one. Probably why I'm talking to them, because a lot of young entrepreneurs are there. People are doing in polyhouses also in other places. It's coming to the news in Noida, even in Hyderabad also somebody that done it, in Bangalore. But here it's one important, the saffron palm has to acclimatize with the condition. One palm, it has to multiply to three, maximum 5 numbers. That depends on the acclimatization of the soil and all these things, where the science and technology is basically taking a very important role. So that's what, and also people are trying to look at saffron this tea now. So a lot of opportunities are there. I'm just giving this one example. You can see this is all places, different places that we have been doing. Now, yeah, so large scale capacity building we have been doing. So I just want to give one more example to you that which can, some of you can involve in these particular activities. You know that bamboo, bamboo is something can give you a use where they say green gold. And bamboo tree, if you grow bamboo tree, it grows around 1 feet per day. And maturity of a bamboo tree is only 3 years. It matured in 3 years. One bamboo tree absorbs around 650 kg of carbon dioxide in a year. And it emits 300 kg of oxygen in a year. All data are there nowadays, you can get it. Now imagine about that, if you have 1,000 numbers of bamboo trees along the both highways, how many kgs of CO2 that you are going to absorb? And 1,000 kgs of CO2 you can absorb, that you are running 1 carbon credit. So can we think about that, a carbon neutral road? on both sides of the road. You have, and then we have technology in our country, indigenous technology, but the mature bamboo can be converted into charcoal. Bamboo charcoal. Bamboo charcoal is having calorific value around 7,000 kilocalorie per kg, which is many times more than coal. So that's why it's considered to be a green fuel. Again, the charcoal can be converted to activated carbon. As you, all of us know that activated carbon has a huge potential in cosmetic industries. And the country of us is such that you don't need to nurture bamboo to grow. It grows automatically. Our environmental conditions are such that, so we have to trap where is our potential. And the technology wise, we are having everything nowadays, because all these technologies are indigenous technology. We can use this technology in a much better way. Even bamboo salt also now in the market. Bamboo salt is also so that's what one we have a institution called Bamboo and Can Development Institute in Agartala under us. So where we are doing a lot of activities under bamboo. You can see the capacity building, a lot of activities have been working on that. And these are some of our product on bamboo out of this utility product which we, and more importantly, being a cricket tragedy nation, we know the IPL is going on. We have developed first bamboo cricket bat. Importantly, this bamboo cricket bat is having 38% superior than the English willow. 38% superior. And it has been, I have given it to the Mumbai Indian teams, given it to Sehwag Academy just to test it. They found that it is much better than English willow, because its knocking power is everywhere same, but English willow is only at the middle point. So wherever it is coming out, the same stroke it will go. Right? So that's the uniqueness of that. But I'm not talking about you just take it to the market, but if you take only 1% of the Indian market cricket, only 1%, then 0.1% is also enough to do that. So it's a huge market potential is there. That's what I just wanted to show. So large number of capacity building work on different technology, as I did mention. I will not go more details about that. Some of the important things that I wanted to show you. These are what, yeah. No, this one. Yeah, this is very important. This is one project that we have initiated under this scheme called PMDY, Prime Minister Development Initiative under Northeast. So here you are trying to convert a banana tree, 100% utilization of banana tree. From the whole stem of the banana, we are producing fiber, banana fiber. And then you know that banana tree is consisting of huge amount of liquid. And this liquid is highly antibacterial. This 1 kg of banana fiber we are extracting, you are basically getting around 10,000 liters of liquid. Then we have our own formulation to convert that, similar to same as fermentation. So we have our own formulation to convert that sap into the liquid fertilizer. And this is our these things. We have our own brand, and we know that we are an agriculture-based country. We have huge amount of farmers. We are talking about organic farming now. So this liquid fertilizer is highly organic liquid fertilizer and biomass. Then the same fiber, again, if you do if you use some technology, you can convert this fiber into clothes. You can also make
functional beverage for weight loss.
I'm coming to that one. And the same fiber also, not even fiber, of course with the fiber and the stem pulp, we can also do vegan leather. The vegan leather. The technology with us, with the country itself. We have our own technology. We are not using others' technology. And then, because of its highly antibacterial, this is very useful for sanitary pads. And this is all this testing has been done in ICM through ICMR. So this is what we are going to have 12 different plants in entire Northeast. Each plant will produce around 300 kgs of fibers per day capacity. 10,000 liters of, around 10 to 20,000 liters of liquid fertilizer per day. So the government is investing. So there is a return on the investment comes up within 6 months. So this is a big plan that we are initiating in an office, and everything is mechanized. We have been talking about organic farming. We have been talking about all these things. There's another project we have initiated, promotion of scientific organic farming in India. Very unique concept. The idea is to create 250 farm labs. The farm lab will consist everything related to the farmers, whatever is required with respect to organic is concerned. And each farm lab is connected to 100 farmers. So we're talking about 25,000 farmers. So these farm labs we have taken the camel, and then soil testing has been done through the processes, and we identified what are the different products comes out from each farm lab, each clusters. So 25,000 clusters will have this different organic farming product, and at the end, this will go to some organic outlets at the different parts of the country. So imagine about that. Now, think about that 25,000, and that is also now we are using over there blockchain technology. You might have heard about that.
Yes.
So this blockchain technology, you can also quantify the quality of the product and make a QR code. So through that, everywhere from the world can access the farmer products and it can go to the market. And this is all been digitized. More importantly, this is very, very important. We have been talking about organic farming, we have been talking about all organic. We don't have organic seeds in our country. We don't have. This organic certified seed we don't have in our country. We have MBPG who are supplying these seeds. They don't have the seeds. So we are connected to world's biggest organic seed provider called Sativa in Switzerland. So we have invited them to create a hub in Northeast to produce seed, organic seed, which is NPOP certified, and that process has been initiated. And through that certified process of the seed production, we are now providing seeds to the farmers. This already been started last year. So this is a big project that we have initiated, and this is all, as I told you, the digitized through the process. This is what mobile app, all the mobile app, 250 farm labs, 25,000 farmers we are providing mobiles. They will have all these app-based things. So all these things, product, we can aggregate in one place and it can go to the market. That's the idea. So this is what done through, everything done through project monitoring system. This is developed in industry. I will not go more details about all these things. So we are also working extensively on honey. And honey wine also comes out of that. So one product is there. So this is in a big way honey production. Honey is going scientific honey, and we are providing all support. So Salia is there. He is involved with us from the very first day about this honey project. And we have been working extensively in entire Northeast, providing support. And one of the special honey that we have initiated this time is buckwheat honey. Looking at the importance of that particular buckwheat, I do not know how many of you know about that. In Hindi, it's called kuttu ki atta. This is a highly gluten free, and in Japan they are using for all their products buckwheat because of high gluten free. So and India also imports around 2,000 metric ton of buckwheat every year. So we have initiated a big way in Arunachal to this. And buckwheat honey is a monoflora honey, and if you see in Amazon how it is cost, what is the cost of buckwheat honey. So this is also we initiated. So, of course, many other the products through FPOs and FPCs. So another important this thing is that everywhere in this country, we, particularly animal fodder, I do not know how many of you are aware that we use this particular the dairy, milk and all these things, but nutritious animal fodder is very, very important to get the maximum output. In Northeast particularly, I have the data, there is a 91% deficiency of animal fodder. 91% deficiency. We don't have the nutritious animal fodder in Northeast. So we have initiated a big project on nutritious animal fodder. There are many others. There's one girl from Manipur. She has developed a silk from lotus. Lotus silk. So that's supported by us out of this 143 project that I have shown. Is one of the projects. So, and Honorable Prime Minister in his 100th Mon Ki Baat had a talk with her. And also recently in Bangalore there's an expo, Honorable President also met her and tried to understand how she extracts silk from the lotus. So this is a very successful project that has been done. There are many other activities. We are working extensively on STEM education lab in Northeast. So we have a very important sector. This is a geospatial sector because many people have been talking with me in the morning about the drone and other things. We are extensively working on this particular sector. We have an RPTO recognized by DGC. We provide drone pilot training. And we are working on drone Didi concept. Probably all of you know about the Prime Minister initiative for the agriculture drone. Lot of mapping and all these things we do. And we are involving students in a big way so that we produce large scale capacity building for the future. So we've been working in various sectors particularly. And of late we have done a big project, completed a project to understand the entire Meghalaya forest carbon stock and then carbon financing of that carbon stock. So that has been completed recently and you submitted to the government of Meghalaya. And this is first of this kind has been developed, this kind of project in the country. The Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya has projected to the PMO that this has to be taken to the other part of the country also. So this is, everything has been done in our in-house facility. This is the first of this kind of drone. This is tether drone. This is endurance is to more than 24 hours. It's highly used for the forest and the border area. This is developed indigenously. So this is, of course, these are all our copyright is there. So this is a drone ecosystem in entire north for the entire northeast. We have developed. We are giving huge amount of training to the colleges, schools. Even in fact, we have also tied up recently with the QIS Education Foundation in Ongol, so here in Andhra. So we are going to give them full support to develop these kind of activities. Okay, we have our own capacity over there. So, lot of activities related to food processing. This is what is the trading in the drone. Now this northeast wine sector, it would not be wise to not say anything about this particularly this session, right? So we have also supported a few fruit wine. Of course, Sully has already mentioned about the Dura wine. It is supported by us. I will not go more details about that. Capacity of his production capacity at this moment. This is the unique, this has been supported in Assam. This is called rice wine basically. Right, it is earlier, it was a local product, but shelf life has been increased to more than 1.5 years. So this is also in the market. This is his capacity. This is also supported by us. This is recently in Assam, this fruit wines. Probably you know about this group. Another, they have the capacity, but small. This is very small amount. Another, tea wine, they say. Right? This is also supported by us. So I'm not going to discuss details about that. We can discuss more on the question answers part that so we basically do a lot of collaboration, partnership with the government, non-government, NGO, self-help group for the entire country. So we are connected to the many organizations. We are also connected to Global Research Park in IIT Madras, ISFC in IIT Delhi. We have an MOU with IIT Hyderabad. So we also tie up with the institution to get the technology, and then we connect to the industry to take this technology the larger scale, and then we take this to the society. There are a few success stories. There's some videos out there. I don't know whether it will work or not.
Northeast Center for Technology Application and RAGE, Nectar has taken up a project titled
The
Technology
single largest
Intervention and
cluster
Upgradation in
involved
Biodegradable
global-
Yoga Mat Production, with Samang Collectives Private Limited, a social enterprise from Guwahati. The aim of this project is to promote production and use of natural fiber-based eco-friendly yoga mats made from locally available water hyacinth. In this project, fiber extracted from water hyacinth will be woven on the traditional Assamese loom, in different combinations of techniques, materials and tools to achieve a high-quality 100% biodegradable and compostable yoga mat, which offers great comfort to the users. With Nectar's technological intervention, the process of drying of water hyacinth fiber will be mechanized using appropriate drying technology. Through this project, Nectar wants to uphold the message of vocal for local by enhancing capacity and confidence of the local artisans, mainly women and girls of weaker sections such as schedule caste. This project will provide direct livable continuous employment to up to 70 women from the indigenous community of Deepor Beel Wildlife Sanctuary, a famous wetland designated as a Ramsar site located near the Guwahati city. The villagers will now be able to produce 1,000 hand-woven yoga mats made of water hyacinth per month.
দীপৰ বিলৰ পৰা আমি actually মেটেঙাটো উঠোৱা হয় তো হেতু শুকাই মিলি আমি আনি
I just want to tell you one story behind this. The five girls who lost their job during the COVID time. They were working in Bangalore in some restaurant. So they went back to their home that they were jobless basically. So they wanted to do something. They were doing something with the handicraft item from their nearby, the lake is there. They get water hyacinth. But more important, where the science, where the technology comes into the picture. If you dry in the sunlight, then there is a typical moisture content that you have to maintain in the water. Otherwise, it will be brittle. So that typical moisture content, depending on actual temperature, that is very important. That R&D we did in IIT Delhi, Civil Engineering Department. After that, when this particular this hot air oven has been customized, hot air oven has been developed and provided to them 500 capacity or 200 capacity per day. Then with that hot air oven, the water hyacinth they used to dry in 12 days for that particular condition. They could dry within 36 hours. And when I have given them an assignment to give me 700 yoga, the 100% biodegradable yoga mat by 21st June 2020. That year, the yoga has to be done, International Yoga Day. The yoga has to be done inside the room because of COVID. And they have given me the yoga mat. I supplied to all ministries, including the Prime Minister. And they did their yoga on that day, in that particular mat, and next day they tweeted. Our Honorable Prime Minister has tweeted, Kiran Rijiju has done that day, and Piyush Goyal. So within a day, these five girls become very famous all over the country. And it went to PIB also. So a lot of media people went and they took the interview. Now they are not only the five girls, from the five girls now there are 60 women are involved with them. And all of them average monthly income is around 8,000 rupees. Now that. So that's and then beauty is that how it is making the entire ecosystem. You know that water hyacinth is a nuisance. It absorbs huge amount of oxygen from water. So this, because of it absorbs huge amount of oxygen, the fishes are dying in the lake. And because of fishes were dying in that particular lake, the typical birds used to, the birds are wildlife sanctuary, they stop coming. So whole it creates the disturbance in the whole ecosystem. And because of this, now everything has again stabilized. And that's why, that's a market link, because all of you are basically entrepreneur or businessmen, you know that market is how it has to be strike to the market. That's why we thought that to give a unique name of this yoga mat. It's not like that water has in yoga mat is not in the market. It is there in the market. China is producing like anything. But we have given a unique name called Moorhen yoga mat. You can search in Google. Moorhen yoga, Moorhen is a typical bird to see that bird people used to come only. So now people are not asking water hyacinth yoga mat. People are only asking Moorhen yoga mat. So that way it became famous. This year I heard that they supplied around 2,000 number of yoga mat to Poland. And now we are trying to make it smart Moorhen yoga mat. That means you can also, after doing yoga, you can also see in your mobile how much calorie that you lose. So this is what something new, innovative techniques and technology that we have to introduce. If we have the potential, we can do that. So that's the idea. Thank you very much. You can remove.
When you make wine, from any ingredient for that matter, wine gets shelf life from two things. One is alcohol, other is acids, right? If you maintain your acids well and you have right amount of alcohol as per the FSSAI standards of India, wine above the alcohol of 11% and above, you did not mention the shelf life. But what is to be understood is, even though if there is no shelf life, the wine's life is like this, like a A shape, right? When it is young, it is not that tasty. As it ages, there will be a point which will be the peak point of the wine, right? At that moment, the wine tastes the best, and then the flavor profile starts to drop. Not just that if it is aged for so many years, it will be the best, but every wine will have its peak, and then it will drop, right?
So, okay, I understood. So it is not the case with the other things like brandy, whiskey and something, right?
No. Wine is always alive, right? So basically, what happens is generation of alcohol happens via fermentation. That is the basic wine, and then extraction of alcohol happens via distillation, which is all the other products, brandy, whiskey, vodka, gin, whatever that could be, right? So there is extraction of alcohol. So once the alcohol is extracted, it's all the technique of aging that happens into those hard spirits, which will give the flavor profile to it. But wine is always live, so it will have a peak and then it will drop.
Recently, one article came that in Egypt, some pyramid,
And for us?
Yes. So they found 5,000 years old wine which is still active.
Yes, it will be edible, but how tasty will it be? Nobody would know. There are even in Georgia, there are still people making wine in these amphoras. These wines are they start fermentation into these amphoras, seal it tight, and they are left for 8-9 months. Nobody checks on it, and then it is by God's grace they get good product all the time, but it has a peculiar taste to it, and only few winemakers over there have been able to do it because it's a tradition. Not everybody has maintained it.
Yes, one thing regarding the fruit wine. There are a couple of challenges in the seasonal thing of the fruits, because fruits always seasonal fruits. So the second one is that it's a perishable, and the supply chain, if it gets delayed or something, even the storage also could not maintain that product. So how will we beat the challenges when we are establishing fruit wine unit or something? How will we beat these two?
We have faced this challenge in the past, wherein we as Indians, we do not understand seasonality. हमको चाहिए मतलब चाहिए, right?
There are now technologies available. You have the cold storage.
Yeah, cold storage are there, but suppose if you take mango, we cannot maintain for long even the cold storage is there. And second thing, if you come across this kichu or whatever the fruit you say, all fruits can be extracted. But here two challenges: the geographical location of the crop, and the unit establishment in some other place. So they are harvesting and carrying it in a safe way, in a container, small containers, keeping in the large thing, and the time taking and the exposure to the atmosphere things like rainy or heat or something. Ultimately, when it comes to this unit, how will store? Because immediately we cannot convert everything into wine.
Correct. I'll give you this example of strawberry. Right. My unit in Maharashtra is based on Maharashtra-Gujarat border, right? And strawberries used to come from Mahabaleshwar, right?
Yes.
From Mahabaleshwar to my unit is about 350 kilometers, which non-stop in a truck would take around 9 hours to reach, right? The way we would work with these strawberries is, first of all, there were protocols set by us, right? We would send our trucks, which were sanitized, clean, with no bacteria inside, sprayed with sulfites and all those things. The moment our truck reaches the farmer, the strawberries would only be loaded in the evening, around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock when the sun goes down. Once the strawberries are loaded in the tank, loaded in the truck, we would spray again sulfited water into it. The trucks would be sealed, and then that strawberry would come to us early in the morning around 7 o'clock, and we would crush the strawberries at that moment itself by 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in that day. So within 24 hours from fruit to juice, the business is done. But you are right, while you say there are logistical challenges when it comes. So somebody sitting far off and imagining to make a strawberry wine, say Mahabaleshwar se utana hai, and they want to make something in Bengaluru, not possible.
And second thing is that suppose if you are doing strawberry, is it continuously you may get it that one. But let's take mango, because we have in news video in certain areas, districts, mango will get a lot. In the mango, there are two types of things. One is, as you said, grading of these mangoes and as you are buying the mangoes which are not eligible for the selling the regular fruit market and all.
Correct.
We can collect all those things. Okay, hardly it will be for 2 or 3 months the season.
Correct.
So what we can do in other months?
There is a technology which can be utilized. Like they make apple juice concentrate. You can make mango juice concentrate by taking it through a process of centrifuge and vacuum evaporation. Then you have a pure mango juice concentrate generated, which you can store in a cold store for how much ever days or months or years you want. And as and how the demand comes, you can just get it out, dilute it, and make wine from it.
So is the cost viable for all these processes and everything and selling?
Hence, fruit wine is a craft; it cannot be a mass business.
Yeah, thank you, because we have a lot of queries from farmers and all, because I am the editor of Irvaka Agriculture Monthly magazine.
Right.
It's the only magazine available in Telugu. So we face all these things.
Always, a farmer can imagine to making a product as a craft, because the moment the scale comes in, hence I was hearing to the dialogue outside in the afternoon, wherein they were talking about venture capitalists and stuff like that, where they are wanting to develop 10x multiples for their investment in 7 years.
Yes.
In fruit wines, it's not possible. Until and unless you make something like a tropical destination wherein you are inviting people and converting those people there and there on the venue itself or at the location itself, only then it's possible.
Yes. Thank you.
My question is for Mr. Nagesh.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Medhansh. I just graduated from BITS Pilani. My first question is that from what I heard is that I understood that the wine preparing process are slightly different for each fruit. So I wanted to know how much of the equipment can be standardized across all fruits. So that is one thing. My second question is that there's this Bro Code, I think you are aware of it, right? So Bro Code is marketed as beer, and I had that idea lurking around my mind and I saw it in front of me. So if we would be able to provide multiple flavor sparkling wines at 15% alcohol, I think it would disrupt the market of Bro Code and convert fruit wine, sparkling wine into a mass market product.
It is doable. To answer your first question, there are 3 pieces of equipment that is required for generalizing the fruit wine process. One is a destoner, another is a fruit mill, and third is a fruit press. If you have these 3 things, then you can do multiple fruits across. To answer your question in regards to Bro Code is a 15% alcohol, and for you to understand how to disrupt a market that Bro Code has already established, I would say it is possible, and you would be able to do that. But you have to understand, broker is retailed in Maharashtra around 150 rupees. Here I think it's around 200 rupees. Right? To match that with 100% fruit, that rate is a challenge. Because fruits are expensive. What they are doing, they are is less of grape wine and more of extra neutral alcohol, added flavor. So it's more of a commercial product than craft.
So, I thought you made it possible with bear, right? The apple juice and extra addition.
That is possible only in Himachal.
Okay.
If you again, policy to policy changes, right? I am situated in Himachal, wherein apple, if I tell you at what rate I am buying, it will be a shock to you, right? Because there is so much of apple. There is so much of apple wastage, which is there in Himachal. I buy during off season, not even in season. Off season, I buy apples not more than 12 or 13 rupees a kilo. Right? So that is possible because I am getting very cheap raw material. But if it is somewhere here, then you have to find out the fruit which is in so much of a mass quantity that availability is also not a challenge, cost is also not a challenge. Then it's good.
Thank you.
Ever say it's a healthy drink? Right? Wine is wine, it has got alcohol. If you do not consume it in moderate quantities, it is going to affect your liver. Can be wine, beer, whiskey, vodka, whatever. But when you have it in moderate quantities, you are okay. Right? But is it healthy? I am not the person to comment because it's not right on my part to say alcohol is healthy. Otherwise, I would have served it to my 8-year-old son.
Is there any caution, like, caution? Do you exercise that?
Sorry?
Do you exercise any caution on that?
Yeah, we do. On all our labels, we say alcohol drinking is injurious to health. We do that. And process-wise, like I told him also before, wine is primary fermentation of fruit without addition of any alcohol, and alcohol is extraction of alcohol from a fermented base. So that the spirit that is generated is from some source which is converted from sugar into alcohol, and then it is extracted. That goes the process of distillation.
What is the turnaround time once you get the fruit and to become a wine?
From fruit to bottle, it is about 45 days to 60 days.
Generally, what is the life span? Whatever you said at the bottle, is for 1 year, 1.5 years?
You mean to say the
on an average, expiry date.
expiry date? Like I said before also, anything below 11% would be good enough to be consumed in like year and a half to 2 years, right? And 11% and above, we do not have to mention the expiry date because it will never go bad. The taste might change. So tomato. You wanted to say? No, it's okay. Yeah, but you can produce wine from tomatoes. Not anyone has tried till date, but tomato, given a situation, it has got sugar in it. We will have to understand what kind of acids are present in tomato, whether it will help us develop good wine or no. If experimented, then tomato wine can be made. If available in excess, yes, why not?
But I can give you another solution of the tomato. You can extract lutein from tomato using technology, which is a very good food color, organic food color. So that is very useful. Instead of wine, you can extract lutein from there.
Correct. Something like this, there will be more approachable and more doable because India, every state has got its own rules and regulations when it has to import wine from anywhere. So if as a person from Hyderabad wants to send wine to Maharashtra, it will be a big pain for him to label registration and following all the rules and regulations over there. Something like this, what sir just suggested, the market is open then. Only to have a FSI license and GST license, you can build to any wine.
And if you are giving us in lot, tankers,
Can we label here and sell it?
Again, excise has their rules. Excise has their rules. You will have to pay their import duty, then all the other taxes that they are levied, even for bulk buying. And once it comes here, you can put your label and package and sell.
Sir, excise is a state subject.
Thank you.
I had a similar related question. So, exporting to US, exporting to US will be low.
There is one question already somebody initiated. Please let him finish, then we can come to you.
So, most of the states are now formulating the policy. So, what is your experience of setting up a company where the policy was not very clear or it was still in the making?
So basically, when we went to the excise department of Maharashtra back in 2011, we said we want to make wine from chiku and all the other local fruits. The first thing that, because there was no policy, the superintendent of excise, he told us, "मैं juice बना के बेचो ना, wine क्यों बनाना है?" Right? Because they did not have the policy. But we said no, we want to glamorize our fruit. We want to make wine. So we went on to fight against it, and it took us 5 long years to finally get the license. And then next year, because we got the license, we were able to crack the government, and the government established a policy for all the other fruit and honey wine. So basically, single-handedly, it's very difficult. But if you form an organization, or for example, you have an organization like the Farmers Commission, who work for the betterment of the farmers and who work towards the policy advocacy and all those things, then it makes your life very easy. Like we fought single-handedly in Maharashtra to get the policy in place, and it was 6 years, but Farmers Commission could do it in 6 months, sir? 6 months.
Just a follow-up question. You are basically from Maharashtra, right? Another fruit which is very famous in Maharashtra is orange, right? Did you try making wine from orange?
We did try making wine for orange, but orange on its own, like just the orange, the wine becomes very bitter. So we made an orange mead, combined the orange, like the Nagpur orange with the honey. Very good product. Can we take him out? He had a question. Yes, sir.
What are the challenges
Please. Sir. Sir.
You want to export to US or Europe market? What is the best? Did they check your pesticides and USFD and Europe policies? What are the incentives or something? What are the challenges you faced?
See, basically, US FDA, then there is kosher regulations, all such things are required for you to get your product certified, right? It is a lengthy process, it is cost intensive also, and if someone is willing to take it up, then it's doable. It's not that our products are not worthy that market, or our products will not pass those tests. It will pass, but it's very expensive for a small winery or a craft winery to take it up.
And pH scale for long wines?
Your wine pH ranges anywhere between 3.1 to 3.4 pH.
So question, sir. So the French people and Italian people, so they consume wine. It has a more resveratrol, the antioxidants, the other medicinal benefits, and anti-aging also. So no, we extract the wine from all these fruits and veggies. So what is the component of resveratrol, percentage of resveratrol in this?
Resveratrol,
on comparison with wine,
presence
grape.
To the grape, as in red wine, there are only I would say 3 fruits in India we have got. One is the jamun, the second is the soyong from Shillong, and third I think the Tejisem also has that, right? And Tejisem again from Shillong. So 3 fruits.
So apart from these 3 fruits, we don't find resveratrol either, right?
No.
So bearing this resveratrol, we don't find any other medicinal or health benefit, right?
It's low on alcohol, it's easy to drink, but medicinal benefits are not there.
Okay. So good at taste, tangy, pungent.
Nice, fun, high on citrus.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't need
yeah.
it. What is the statistics? What is the statistics if you look at the sales point in time in India? I'm not talking about your own business. Fruit wine versus the liquor, that is one point. And the second point, how the public has been shifted over consumption of the liquor to the fruit wine.
So basically, the entire wine market in the country is at 2% when compared to the entire alcoholic beverages sector, right, from beer, whiskey, vodka, rum. If that is being sold 98%, only 2% is the fruit wine, not fruit wine, the wine. In that wine, around 90% is grape wine and 10% is fruit wine, right? And the shifting that we have seen, the major shifting that we have seen in that's in Meghalaya, wherein we have seen that many people have shifted towards the fruit wine segment, and the imports of grape wine has reduced. At the same time, locals have started consuming more of fruit wine.
Currently, which are the states which you are looking for more into fruit wine business?
Fruit wine business, predominantly numbers wise, if you see, Himachal Pradesh leads. Then number of wineries, if you are seeing, then Meghalaya is number 2.
So the states which have not started yet?
Many. There are many. There are. I will tell you which all are started, so you'll know who has not done anything, right? So people who have started fruit wine is Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Meghalaya, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Sikkim, Meghalaya, Mizoram. They are still into the incubation phase, wherein their policies are still not so fruit wine centric or rather wine centric also. So I would not name them. Yeah, so that's about it. And Assam following suit. That's it.
One more question to Arun sir. Sir, you mentioned about Sativa, which is in Switzerland. We are not into that, what do you call, grains of organic seeds.
Yeah.
But all these 7 states are, land itself is an organic land.
No, ma'am.
It is not?
It's not like that.
Oh, okay.
You can say it's chemical, to some extent chemical free, but still, but DDT is there. You know that this has been earlier given to repel mosquito, long time back in history. You can get the trace of DDT in many places in Northeast. So that's becoming not organic. That's chemical.
How come you could not able to preserve any seeds, sir? Because of
so that it's organized in a way. People are doing. Some people are basically, but it has to be done in a big way to take it forward. So it has been not done in a proper organized way. So I think Meghalaya, to some extent, seed is there. Still organic seed is there.
See, across the Northeast, seed has always been the purview of women folk. Women have always been custodians of seeds, in the sense that they are the ones that dry the seed, that select the good seeds, preserve it. So always it has been a tradition that a village will preserve seed for its own use. Now with the advent of this organic policy, there has been a big jump in the demand for seeds from non-traditional areas because of government incentives. The government has been pushing to take up organic cultivation, even in those places where, say for example, millets were not grown. But because of the millet mission, what is happening is villages or places which were not growing millets have now started growing millets. So therefore that has resulted in the shortage of seeds. In the traditional system, the seed was enough and sufficient to meet the needs of the village itself. But now because of this increased push and also the market demand for organic products, we are seeing the shortfall in the seeds. And that's why it's very, very important. I mean, as a country itself, I know for a fact that seed is a major issue, especially in this climate change where normally Kashmir used to be the biggest producer of pea seeds. Peas, Kashmir was the biggest producer. Because of climate change, that production has dropped. And therefore, we have to import pea now. So this is a situation that is why what Nectar is doing, using satellite imagery, using satellite information and intelligence to identify places now, which can be possible to situate these, these cultivation areas, or even the seed banks. We call them seed banks. In Meghalaya, we have initiated a program where every village is encouraged to set up its own seed bank. It produces the seed and keeps it. And some of these go to the NBPGR for cataloging and preservation. But a lot of it is kept there so that it can be shared with other communities or other villages. But this is something that as a country we need to start thinking of, because soon we will run out of seeds.
Thank you, sir.
What are the opportunities for horticulture farmers in AP and Telangana to supply some whatever required for your
fruit wine? Because you come across this AP and Telangana, there are a lot of horticulture farmers are there, particularly mango and other fruits also. So what are the opportunities if they want to supply to fruit wine units?
See, again, I will go back to what Nagesh has said. If you're going to ship mango from Telangana to Meghalaya, it will be highly unprofitable. Again, because of logistics. See, as a country, our logistics is not geared to handle perishables. I have been exporting and shipping strawberries and flowers across the world, right from 20, 15 years back, where I had to actually personally train airline cargo managers on how to handle perishable cargo. And let me tell you something, till today, the Indian logistics industry is still not yet ready to handle perishable cargo. As compared to, say, a country like, say for example, a country like Thailand, which can produce a rambutan or even a dragon fruit in a remote Thailand village, but it can reach the processing center in 24 hours. Or a country like Vietnam, where, I'm not talking about developed countries like the United States, but a country like Vietnam, where they have developed a system where every locality has a collection center. So every locality of a village or a town has a collection center where young people work, collect, from kitchen gardens, from family orchards, they collect the produce, created cooling. And using hydro coolers, water basically, cool it, package, ship it, and it moves because of the transportation system. And low cost PCM based material that can, that doesn't need power, motive power to actually maintain the temperature. As a country, probably the milk industry is the only industry that has actually put in place efficient supply chain. But as far as our vegetables are concerned, or our fruits are concerned, we are still far, far behind. It's not that we don't have the technology, we have the technology. We have the technology, we have the money. The government has the money. It's actually putting it together, stitching this whole network to make it one seamless system. That is the challenge. Because again, state to state, and agriculture is a state subject. So from state to state, it varies. An APMC in Maharashtra and an APMC in Bihar is different. And for example, even in wines, if you want to ship wines from Meghalaya to Maharashtra, you have to go through Bihar. Bihar is a prohibition state. They will not allow the wines to pass through Bihar. So you either have to fly over Bihar, or go down to Bengal, enter from Siliguri, then go down to Bengal, then cross over to Madhya Pradesh, then go to Maharashtra, or you go north via Nepal. But you can't go through Bihar. So these are the challenges that we face.
The machinery this side, is it that difficult?
That was my next suggestion, is that if you have to see the most cost efficient solution is always to have the processing as close to the producing area as possible. That is your most cost effective solution.
And to add to what Sir just said, every state wants to process fruits of their own, right? So in Maharashtra, if you are processing from the fruits of Maharashtra, then the excise duty is 10 rupee a liter. The moment you get fruit from Andhra Pradesh or Meghalaya or from wherever, your excise duty will jump to 100% of your manufacturing cost. So every government is trying to protect their own farmers. So excise wise, it's not advisable to get fruit from outside. Yes. I don't know anyone who would want to come to Andhra Pradesh and establish a unit of their own, but if there is any person local to here and he approaches me to help him to make a fruit wine from a fruit of their choice, I am more than willing to help.
It affects the quality of the fruits, not the wine. Okay. And your wine will depend on the quality of the fruits. So you can say indirectly it does, yes. Let us also hear, I think, 2 minutes from Ranjit, or one of our winemakers. He's the one who has actually made the soya wine.
Hi everyone. Yes, so basically we started making wine way back. Like we were talking about wine making and everything, and it all started at home, making it for friends and for family and for, to sell during Christmas most of the time. And then we've always concentrated only on one fruit, and that is soyong, which is more like your jamun, but grown always, I think soyong is not cultivated. It's actually not cultivated, but it grows in our backyard or it grows in the wild. So, and then these farmers that they have a huge plot of land, they'll have 2 trees or 3 trees where they would collect and try to sell it in the market. Now, what happened in 2020, the government of Meghalaya actually started the policy of home wine making, and from there we actually wanted to actually commercialize our wine. So from there, then we got training from the Farmers Commission on how to make the wine. Now, the thing about homemade wine, and actually the wine that we've made so far has drastically changed with the help of Mr. Nagesh and Ms. Priyanka. And from there, we've learned that not only one fruit can be made into wine. We started making wine with crab apple, and we started making wine with pineapple, and we now have started experimenting with honey as well. So we have bought some of our products, and we've actually been able to ferment honey and infuse coffee in it. So it's kind of like a coffee mead, we call it. It has a strong smell of honey, and it is very, very tasty as well. So what we're trying to do is actually, what Kenjai is trying to do is actually make wine from the fruits that we know. Like for pineapple, we all know how pineapple tastes like. So like going back to your question, ma'am. Now, if you sit in an arrangement and suppose that you want to drink, and you have a selection of whiskey, vodka, and there's a nice bottle of pineapple wine. Which one would you choose? Suppose you're a non-drinker or a very social drinker. I think most of the social drinker would go for the fruit wine, because why? They know the fruit, they know how it tastes, and they know that if it's a beer, they wouldn't want to go for a beer in a social event and all. They go for the fruit wine, and what makes it unique is that we already know the taste. We already actually know the taste of a pineapple, and having that wine and understanding that, when you have wine, I know it has a little bit of alcohol in it, a very low percentage of alcohol, but the feeling that you get, or the taste, your mind recognize the taste of the fruit. So that this is where it actually helps, non-wine drinkers or social drinkers to actually enjoy the beverage much more. So this is what we are trying to do. I think we have actually achieved to actually incorporate or make sure that the taste of the fruit remains with our wine. So hopefully if we can open some bottles of our wine maybe later, maybe have a taste, you would understand more of it.
I think on that note we should close before everyone starts demanding that we open the wines, because also we are running short of time. So one last question.
Okay. So my question is more directed on the machinery and the equipment which you need. So there are various different machinery you probably need to use to produce the wine, right? So what are the different machinery? And then the next question is, who are these OEMs who manufacture this machinery? Is it like something like a one-time thing you develop, or are they professional manufacturers who make this equipment? That's my question. Because I have something to do with them. So this is what.
For me to answer your question, is a one-stop solution. It's called Device Rig Solutions. Sorry, I am basically Nagesh. I think you did not attend the. So basically, I have a company by the name Device Rig Solutions that help people formulate, to develop, to execute end-to-end solutions we provide, irrespective of the fruit that you wish to make wine from. Provided you tell us what you want to make, we'll develop that for you. And that can be done at a home scale to a commercial scale to a mega industrial level also.
So thank you very much everyone for being so patient. Okay,
One small question, sir. In Andhra, how to the manufacturing industry, how government licenses what you want, sir?
You have to apply for an excise license.
Okay.
And you have to have an FSSCI certification for your wine.
Any authorization you can give this, sir? Fruit wine.
First of all, I think the policy is not yet there.
Okay.
It's not yet there.
There is no policy in Andhra Pradesh at the moment for you to help make wine, but nonetheless you can start approaching the excise department and put in a proposal. So with your follow-ups, sooner or later they will come up with a policy.
Okay, thank you everyone for being so patient. It's been, I did not expect so many people to be remaining at the end. Normally these kind of sessions people start to leave halfway. But I think probably we might have done a good job that you have been so patient and understanding. Thank you so much everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, and thank you for taking so much time.